Right, folks, it's that time of the week for Jungle Drums, our weekly tech and gaming news show. This week we're doing something a little bit different. This entire show is going to be about Destiny 2, and that's because today was the worldwide premiere of gameplay footage. The devs talked a little bit about some of the changes, some of the new things that are going to be upcoming and whatnot. So I am joined by my fire team, Gim Boyd and Sergeant J. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hey.
Hey, poor Gim. Gim's not feeling well this evening, but you know what? He's just buttoned down, put the chin up, and just getting on with it. Hopefully you'll feel better soon, bro. Hopefully. Right, so, well, as you can see, I'm actually in Destiny attire. Got my good old representing the Titan, see? Titan hoodie. Right.
Time off race. Sorry.
Right, fine. Why are we talking about Destiny 2? Well, first of all, let's begin. Whether you loved it or hated it, Destiny was a huge commercial success. From a personal level, me and my fireteam buddies, we spent an inordinate amount of time playing Destiny. And if anything, the game itself brought all of us together quite close. I mean, this was a game that we were consistently playing together, raiding together, which brings me to my next point. When it comes to raiding, obviously this is just half of our clan, of our actual raid group. We used to just tear through the content. We ate it up. As soon as it came out, we were tearing through it, to the point where, don't mind bragging about it, but when King's Fall came out, the raid for the Taken King, we were right up there in contention. We were on track to probably be one of the top 10 clans for World's First. But hey, we didn't quite get there. But so anyway, so that's why we're talking about Destiny. We've played a lot of it in the past, not so much these days, but we've definitely got a lot of time invested in the game. I don't even want to. I know I'd looked at how many hours I had altogether a while back, but it's I can't remember off the top of my head, and I know you guys are the same. You've got a hell of a lot of gameplay time as well.
Too much. Way too much.
Way too much. It was funny. I mean, it had that kind of grindy, I don't know, addiction similar to WoW. Like WoW Light. It didn't have the depth, obviously. And I think this is where Destiny 2 is going to become interesting, because before we get into the ins and outs of Destiny 2, I'd like to hey Kronos, how you doing, bud? I'd like to share just a personal opinion of Destiny 1. I was one of those people that I wasn't hyped up about Destiny. I didn't follow it at all. I'd heard of it, never really looked into it. And it wasn't until the day before it was being released that I actually saw the official reveal of it. PlayStation, I believe, they were streaming it a day early. I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's quite cool. And so yeah, I bought the game day one. But it was quite good, enjoyed it. But looking at the backstory, because again, I didn't follow the hype. I knew nothing about the E3 announcements prior to and whatnot. Looking into how much was promised compared to what they actually delivered was actually quite upsetting. I mean, we had these promises of if you can see it, you can go there. It was going to have just so much stuff going on in the game, and I think if we're brutally honest, on release it really didn't. I believe that's because of the limitations of the last gen of consoles, the 360 and the PS3. I think that effectively kind of reined things in for the at that point the next gen, which of course is now the current gen consoles. We ended up on Xbox One and PS4 being limited by the previous generation, and I think that really kind of showed throughout Destiny. I mean, we came up with more expansions, and okay, it helped, it added more content. But, I mean, if I'm brutally honest, I feel as if what we ended up having once the Taken King came out, you know, that's the way the game should have been. You know, it just feels like it was a long road to get there. But I'm happy with where it ended up going, I have to say. You know, what about you guys? Your thoughts on Destiny 1?
I'm in the same boat as you. Really haven't really heard much of it. Actually, it was Hooded that ended up talking to me about it, explaining to me about it, and trying to get me into it. So I got into it that way. Didn't really hear much about it, to be fair. I heard rumours of it coming out with 100 different code names and things, but I'm the same as you, really. What compared to looking at what they promised and what came out was very different. And seeing the game gradually improve, I'm really happy I got to be a part of that. Got to see it improve. Got to play it through its improvements. And same as you, Taken King was where for me it looked like they were taking the right steps in the right direction, where they finally sort of figured out where they wanted to go. And I think, yeah, a lot of it was due to console limitations, especially when you have a look at what was done with Rise of Iron. But also a lot of it was due to the fact of this big fallout that happened before Destiny came out, with obviously, I can't remember all of the details for it, but story problems, rebooting parts of it, main developers leaving, so... But I'm happy with where it got up to and the state it was at. I played it throughout the whole entire sort of life cycle there.
Definitely yourself, Kim.
What you thought of Destiny 1?
Well, apart from not having enough content for the speed we got through it, it was pretty decent.
You know, I think that's a good point. I mean, by no means, I hate, you know, the stereotyping of casual and hardcore and all that kind of thing. You know, that sparks back from the WoW days. But I think, you know, there is a degree of that in Destiny. You know, it's a game that you can enjoy if you just occasionally pick it up, or maybe you've got a routine, or, you know, you weekly get on, do your things. But I think for people that played a lot of it, I mean, look at most Destiny streamers. You know, you eat through content so quickly. I mean, heck, to the point where, you know, you end up making other characters. You know, I had all all classes were raid ready. So yeah, definitely agree. But yeah, so, you know, so Destiny 1, quite interesting. You know, we knew we had a roadmap as well. We knew there was going to be a sequel, because all the rumors were, you know, there was a 10-year plan for Destiny. So how about, without further ado, why don't I do just a little bit of yeah, where Crucible was, everyone. Yeah, a lot of folk, you know, did end up in Crucible. Let's show just a little bit of video here from the actual game. Well, one of the cutscenes.
What makes a guardian a guardian? We take our first breath with no memory of who we were before. Yet, we are inexorably drawn to the light. We fight, we die, and we live again. We know that we were chosen for a reason, by something greater than ourselves. For as deep and wide as humanity's rivers have run, it has now been reduced to a precious few, needing something to believe in and a place to call home. This is what we have been called to, the future that we fight for. The future we will protect. Shaped by the fires of each new battle, we are forged and sharpened into what we must become for the fight ahead. built is only the beginning, a symbol of what we can achieve, of who we are and our great purpose here. But the day may come when we will be tested, when all we hold dear is threatened. And then we will see what each of us is truly made of.
Well, I've got to be honest, it made my spine tingle watching that. Oh, just, if there's one thing Bungie can do, it's cinematics. They always do it. They come out with great trailers. Their cutscenes were top-notch in Destiny. Just, let's be honest, there wasn't enough of them. But, just really, really cracking bit of footage there. Really, really enjoy it. Right, so...
I noticed something. I wonder...
What did you notice, Gim?
In that trailer. Near the end, when they're just like looking over the wall, like, oh, look at what we built. Little girl with the red scarf.
Yes.
That's Amanda Holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
It definitely, correct me if I'm wrong, but they never got into the timeline, did they? During the reveal.
Really.
They never
It's
discussed
sort of
it.
like, you don't remember everything from before, and we're not really going to go into it. Except maybe in Grimoire cards, and they're going to be very vague. So, I hope the Grimoire's dead. Maybe just gone completely. It's like, no, everything's in-game.
But no, it's a good point, that little clues like that. I mean, this is the thing about Destiny. There's no doubt that Reddit is probably just blowing up at the minute about that kind of Amanda Holiday kind of speculation there, but it definitely seems reasonable. Right, so anyone who didn't catch the reveal, Jay, where did they kind of start things off?
It started off with Luke Smith, and then he very quickly spoke about the sort of 3 points they looked at with, I'd say, Destiny 2, which was the sort of 3 major points was a world that pulls you in, amazing things to do, and the last part was quite an interesting number here as well, or figure they gave, which was always someone to play with. And apparently 50% of the player base got the chance to go into the raids and complete them, which is quite an interesting
Wow.
an interesting number.
That's quite higher than it used to be, is it not? Because
it is.
Or then again, hold on, maybe I'm thinking of hard, aren't I'm thinking of the heroics and stuff, but overall, okay, that makes sense.
To see these 3 points, just to look at those now, and then as we go through, looking at what they showed and what they spoke about, really does show how they've sort of focused on these and how they've wanted to implement around these points, and I think that as a whole has shown how much they've improved what they want Destiny to be as a whole. But pretty much after that, they went into the gameplay, or the first level, which I believe was called Homecoming, and the gameplay for that, which showed off quite a lot of stuff, actually, to be fair.
Let's talk about that gameplay just for a minute. I mean, graphically, the things I noticed, I mean, you could tell that, I mean, right off the bat, the engine, I want to say it's probably still the same engine, but it's just been upgraded, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Rather than a whole new, a brand new engine built from the ground up, it just looks like they've made improvements. It looked like the shadows were improved, the lighting effects were improved. Same like with, what they call, I think, bump mapping and whatever. It looked like, and I'm not even sure, maybe, is it possible that actually at the event, I know they were supposed to be showing it on PC. Do you think it's possible maybe they were showing it at 4K on PC, maybe? Because it looked to me like the pixel density was much higher, if you know what I mean.
As a whole, it looked very crisp. It did look very nice. And to me, it looked a lot better than what we see Destiny at the moment. You can see obviously a lot of similarities to the way it is, but it does look a lot crisper and a lot nicer. Yeah,
even, I mean, the particle effects with the weapons, with the abilities and everything, it just looked more what you would expect from the current generation of tech.
having been able to put like those legacy consoles behind them does give them a lot more scope for what they can do, which is nice to see. So.
What about yourself, Gim? What did you think of the gameplay footage that they had showed?
It looks really, really nice graphically.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting a downgrade on release, because that seems to be part of the course nowadays.
Well, you're right, Kronos. I mean, that's what we think as well, that they were definitely limited. The only worry is, I mean, and I'm trying to think. I mean, I know we've seen it with other games. Like, look at, for example, the E3 reveal of The Division. The graphics from that were amazing, but then the release wasn't the same. I'm trying to think if Bungie had done the same thing with the original Destiny, because I don't think so, did they? I mean, I'm trying to remember if we ended up getting downgraded graphics.
I can't remember that far back.
I don't think we did. I mean, I know we got downgraded features, but I think graphically, it was pretty much spot on. And I think this is where it kind of bugs me, because with it coming out on PC, part of me would love to get the PC version just for what I would imagine would be a faster experience, better graphics, but at the cost of leaving my friends behind. So I'm obviously going to get it on Xbox One, because hello, that's what we play on. But I'm really curious.
Handed with keyboard to play shooters on PC.
Well, remember, plug a controller in. You could still play with a controller. But yeah, I know. But the thing is, the benefit is, the graphics, I suppose. But no, it'll be. It looks a lot better, and it just makes me think about, wow, what is it going to look like on the PS4 Pro and Scorpio when that comes out? Is Destiny 2 going to support 4K on consoles?
Isn't Scorpio due out around September as well?
Well, there's a lot of... I don't want to digress too much, but it's still up in the air. Originally, they were saying holiday period, but there is rumors of it actually being before then. So we'll just see. We'll talk about that another week.
It could be a thing.
It could be a thing. But no, I agree. Graphically... initially, I was viewing it from mobile, and I was like, okay, yeah, it looks a little bit improved. But it wasn't until I got home and actually had it in full screen, and then I could see, oh, okay, yeah, you can definitely see a difference. Even in the UI, just the way, things were popping up and whatnot. Yeah, it's definitely supposed to be this year.
I found that tweet, by the way, from NVIDIA. They are the event it was 4K.
Wow.
Pete,
All I can say is wow.
thanks for the follow, man. Thank you so much.
Going through the gameplay stuff, it's quite interesting to see just what you saw, because one quote as well, which I think mentioned later on as well, was about the fact they've got a lot more cutscenes in there. It's much more cutscene driven. I'm hoping they don't go within that, have it at the wrong end of the spectrum of too many cutscenes, because from that beginning gameplay, it was quite a few, and they were very well done as well.
What game was that? Was it one of the Metal Gears?
Metal Gear Solid 4.
That's the one. Wasn't it like 9.5 hours of cutscene?
For every 15 minutes of gameplay, you got about an hour of cutscenes.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you definitely have to get that balance.
I watched my mate play it, and I thought, I don't need to play this now.
Well, this is the thing, that you could actually go to YouTube and watch the cutscenes. You wouldn't have to play the game. You could just watch the cutscenes and experience the game.
You can watch the gameplay as well. It doesn't have much to it.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Sorry. Jay.
And again, like, I've got, due to time factors and everything, I could going through it all is essentially the gameplay trailer, them defending the city part, essentially the sort of main social space where you hung out on that little entrance point when you first come in. There was 3 waves of defense on that. You actually got to see Zavala as part of the action there, which was quite interesting to be able to see you playing along these Vanguard heroes that usually you just see standing around pretty much giving you orders. So that's quite interesting. Then as well, you got footage of the I would say sort of new classes. So you had the Dawnblade show, the Arc Strider, and the Sentinel. Obviously, we'll go more into that later on, but quite interesting though to see those classes and just almost get a glimpse of what they are without even sort of knowing. Honestly, then you go fighting through the market as well at one point. What I would assume is like a market, which is near where the speaker hangs out, in that big doorway that Zerhide hangs next to, and you sort of think, what's behind there? Goes for that.
Turns out it's the sea.
Well, yeah, exactly. Some little interesting buffs I noticed as well. Like you had at one point them standing in something called a healing rift. There was another one of them, an empowering rift, and Joe made quite a good did a quite a good point on that. You said about them being
because they seem to be like they don't have the sort of same colours as the three main subclass colours, so they look like it's extra ability you can pick that's just not affiliated with each subclass. You can switch in and out because there's the shield one that was showed up above, like a little barrier cover in front of you, and then there was the two rifts that Jay was talking about.
Well,
so it looks like it could be a mix and match thing.
Yeah, because that's something I noticed. I mean, anyone that's played Destiny knows that you have those two little boxes that show your melee cooldown and your grenade cooldown. But on the reveal, there was 3 of those boxes, right? So that third one, is that this ability?
Seems like some kind of rift ability, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe something you pick up trying to get your powers back.
Yeah, it does look quite interesting from that. And then obviously they
seems to be colourless, like.
You get to see a Cora be badass as well. She actually Nova bombs a Cabal ship by the looks of it, and then jumps on it and she just disappears into the wild. And that's amazing. But yeah, you didn't get picked up by Amanda Holiday. You get flown up to the command ship, essentially, which is what I believe is this part that might be blocking off the Traveler's Light barrier. And then
there was that sort of draining ship that was latched onto the Traveler, and there was the command ship that seemed to be operating the invasion itself.
Just by it.
Now, I know that, what we got today was relatively limited, as per what Bungie usually does. They give us
scripted,
they give us very, very little. They've always got, hey, Siri, all right, bud. They've got like a plan of how they like to release snippets of information. They're usually quite good at keeping a tight ship as well. But one thing I just wanted to hit on, after seeing what we've seen today, I mean, do you think, is playing Destiny 1 and all of the content in it, is that going to really be a prerequisite to appreciate Destiny 2? Or do you think people are going to be able to just jump right in and, still be able to have a good time?
I think that all the talk of accessibility means they clearly want this clean break between the two, which
I think the same as well. I think they're making it so anybody that hasn't had the experience, or those that have, will see it in different lights almost, that these veteran players can sort of see it as this sort of improvement, whereas beginner players will be able to come in and just see all this sort of unfold before them and get to become part, as you say, make their own legend sort of thing, which will be quite good for them. As Joe Gim said as well, as they said, making it accessible for everybody.
I suppose that begs the question then. I mean, is Destiny 2 an actual sequel? Is it a reboot? Is it a reimagination? Is it what are we?
It clearly looks like a sequel from what we've seen so far, which is what I wanted. It's like, this was all the old stuff. We're taking it away now because we're bringing you into a new game, and it's exactly what it needed. Because if they brought more, if they try to bring more stuff forth than just your appearance, it would have just felt like maybe this isn't just a big expansion. But no,
hey, Seer, you're spot on there. We were just talking about that in the beginning, and to be fair, I mean, in fact, I'm gonna roll with that. Touching on what Seer is saying there, I mean, you have to think, based off what we saw today, it looks like they're addressing that a little bit. One of the things that I noticed was this, a functional map. When you're on a planet, you actually have a map that you can look at, and this map has waypoints with all the different things that you can do. Your patrols, your public events. They've also got some new things that are being put in called lost sectors, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, the world map looked, well, first it exists, because let's be honest, you didn't have a map. All you had was, when you chose a planet, you had from the orbit screen, you could see a somewhat map of the world, but once you were actually on that planet, you did not have a map. You had a compass, basically, kind of showing stuff.
Very much you learned off by heart, didn't you? As you
you did.
Through the game,
you
learned
did.
Your map, what it was
totally.
About.
So that ability, and the way that they were talking during this reveal was quite heavy on exploration. They said, we know how much you, the player base, want it to explore. Many of you, that's all you like to do. So they're trying to make the world more interactive with all these different things happening. One of the big things was this concept of what they're calling lost sectors, where you might be doing something. They've got these treasure maps, so to speak, right? So you end up having to follow these treasure maps, finding different things around the world, and eventually you'll get this lost sector location, or maybe not the location itself, but a clue to where to look for it. Once you find the lost sector, then okay, there's going to be all sorts of things happening, and eventually it'll be a little mini boss who kind of guards it, and he'll give you a key. A key to what? Well, some kind of treasure, we suppose.
They were saying something about a chest or something.
Cave.
So
yeah, some kind of loot
a key
cave.
to a loot cave.
So that looks
You
quite
shoot frogs
interesting.
and flowers.
So I mean, I think I still don't think we're gonna get the you can go where you can see, but I feel like my bones are telling me we're gonna be able to go a lot more places than we did before. I hope they deliver on that promise. I certainly do.
Oh, Twitter's got some interesting stuff. Apparently, melees take 3 hits to kill, and sticky grenades aren't instant kill anymore in Crucible for Destiny 2.
Oh, well, that'll be good.
It's a big change.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That's maybe they'll balance the PvP a little more.
Yes.
I'll have a bit to say about PvP because I play it, but I'll come back on that later on.
Speaking of the planets, I mean, let's talk about that. They told us we were getting 4 new planets in total.
They say 4 new planets with. Well, yeah, technically it is because we have got Earth. With Earth more of the.
You get the European Dead Zone. That's an actual place.
So again, interesting.
Okay, see, because
the
the way that I translated that was that there was Earth, but when they said 4 new planets, what was making me thinking was the way Bungie works was that they only showed us 3 of them today, and then we'll get the 4th later down the line. I just thought when they said that, I didn't include Earth on that image, so I was thinking, okay, Titan, Io, Nessus, and then another, but I could be wrong.
Well, that is a fair and interesting point. They could have a 4th planet hidden away that we're not aware of.
Just because you know how they are with their tiered reveal. There's no point showing, we've got 4 new planets, here's all of them. Here we go. It's just not how Bungie usually works. They'll try to keep something as a surprise.
With the European Dead Zone, apparently that's the sort of largest place they've built from a Destiny game perspective.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm.
Which again is quite an interesting quote there and quite an interesting fact to look at. And I think that's where a lot of your sort of, I would say, starting play is going to happen with, because they're talking about how you find a refuge camp there. Obviously, you plant a flag and you sort of try and start rebuilding and sort of try to get yourself strong again, ready to sort of retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
Because from the looks of it as well, from what I saw, it looks like each planet is going to be based around a certain Vanguard hero. So on IO, which is supposed to be the sort of where Traveller touched down as well, it's supposed to be
That's
all
like
places touched down. Yeah, like Sakura Raid, where she'll be waiting out because it's got a very sort of big lore thing with the Warlocks.
Yeah, she said that's where she awoke, which I assume is means came the Guardian.
I think Titan is going to be where Zavala is, and then Nessus is going to be where Cade is. So that could almost as well bring in your theory of there being a 4th hidden planet.
We'll see. Again, maybe I've just misunderstood. It's just when I saw that, that's what I figured. I was like, okay, yeah, they're going to show us 3, and then
so that's fair enough. That is.
Go on. Speaking of these planets, one thing that I thought was really interesting was this. Anyone who's played Destiny knows the deal, right? You're on Venus, and then, you need to go to Mars, so what do you have to do? You have to hold the button, return to orbit, wait for that loading screen, get to orbit, then choose Mars, hit on that, push the button, then wait for another loading screen. I mean, we had these really cool ships, but all they were just a loading screen, right?
Yeah.
And then finally you'd get to the planet you wanted to go to. So same if you wanted to change activities, it was always go back to orbit. Want to go to Crucible, go back to orbit. Want to go into the raid, go back to orbit. Need to go to the tower, go back to orbit. It was this barrier that was just in your way. And, you learn, you just got used to it. But it was quite irritating. Well, guess what? Destiny 2, they're taking that away. You're going to have full freedom. You're going to be able to, if you're on Earth shooting things, and then all of a sudden you say, you know what, I fancy some Crucible. Boom, you'll be able to queue up for Crucible right there from the planet. Or maybe you want your buddies call you and they say, hey, look, we're doing whatever raid is going on. Okay, cool. You can just join them and immediately go there. You want to switch planets, change your patrols. Maybe you've got a buddy, somewhere else who says, hey, I found this, lost sector over here. Oh, cool. You don't have to go back to orbit and all this type of stuff. So I like that. I really like... oh, thank you, Mrs. Creature, for the tweet. Much appreciated. It's removing one of those irritating barriers from the game. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
I think that's probably a well-received bit of news for a lot of people because, as you say, a lot of game time was spent going to and from orbit. In terms of Crucible and raiding, I'm not too sure they're going to play that out because looking at when they were showcasing another system, which we'll come into later on again, they were sort of like, say, partly maybe in orbit or something. I don't know if there's going to be some sort of matchmaking. You sit in orbit, you sit on the screen on that map. It's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. Yeah,
I know that they had mentioned that you could from planet directly go into raid. But yeah, one of the things Jay's talking about, which we might as well, since you brought it up, let's go into this. One of the things in Destiny was clans, right? And so we had a clan. Now, obviously, to make said clan, you had to go to the website. You had to go to the Bungie website, or if you had a phone, you could, pull up the app, and you had to create. You had to tether your Xbox or PlayStation account to your Bungie account. Then it would read your Guardian's data. Then you could make a clan, and then you had to make that clan for your console. And then you would invite folk. You'd invite them through Bungie, so then they would have to get on the website and associate their But as you can see, it was a bit convoluted, a bit irritating as well. I mean, a lot of folk were irritated about this whole concept of, okay, so I need an app or a computer just to get, hey, thanks, Mr. Creature, for the tweet, to get the full functionality of this game. Now, near the tail end of Destiny, they did implement a bit more of a clan feature. When you pulled up your social aspect within game, you could see, on the left-hand side was where, who was in your current general area. The middle bit was your friends list, and then on the right it showed everyone that was in your clan. So that was kind of handy, right? I mean, it was a neat little feature. But it just wasn't really quite enough. You still couldn't do any kind of clan administration from within the game. Destiny 2 is going to change all that. It's actually going to have clan integration, right? So what this means is what they've said, which, to be fair, was minimal, but they did give us some info, saying that, look, you're going to have official clan support in-game. You're going to be able to see your full roster of, the clan. You're going to be able to recruit from within the game. So that's great. No longer do you need to go to a forum and try to post or Reddit, somewhere saying, hey guys, want to join my clan? You'll be able to do that from within game. Maybe you've partied up with someone and he was cool or she was cool and you're like, hey, do you want to be in our clan, be one of us? Then you can do that in game. So that's great. Huge feature there. Another big thing with this clan system is kind of like another game, you're going to get clan rewards, right? So there's going to be progression for your actual clan. You'll be able to complete certain activities or raids, events, Crucible, and there's going to be these types of tiered achievements. I don't think, did they actually go into what kind of rewards? Or are we just speculating it'll be shaders and emblems?
Yeah, I expect so. They say rewards. There could even be that aspect of weapons, like special exotics, but I don't know how well that would be received.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, though, as well, because it's not like one of these things like I'm going to use, say, don't play too much Warframe, but WoW, for an example. WoW achievements and things are, you have to have a percentage of the group made up of your clan members. Whereas I think Warframe's more, you can still do solo stuff. And with Destiny, they're doing that as well, obviously. Any sort of solo activities you do will help bump up your clan progress and everything, which is good to know. So they're not just making you have to be constantly... They're not taking away from that solo element whilst you're part of the clan, which is good to see and good to know.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. So I mean, that's one aspect that looks like it's really, really cool. Now, where this ties in is they're introducing a system. There's a lot of folk out there that weren't as fortunate as us. We had a group of people where we could consistently, well, relatively consistently, meet up every week and raid. We knew the 6 of us were online. Okay, occasionally, maybe one of us couldn't make it. We'd have to fill one in, which, we could usually do quite easily. But a lot of folk out there couldn't, right? They had to go, once again, to external websites. Because let's be honest, standing in tower and sending private messages via Xbox Live or PSN to people, saying, Vault of Glass, want to come, things like that. I mean, I used to just ignore those types of direct messages I got. So a lot of people had to use websites. Some people would go to the official Bungie forums, which were meh. But a lot of people used these tailor-made sites that were actually LFG sites, looking for a group. And unfortunately, so a lot of people, that is how they got together and played. A lot of people, that's how they formed clans, was by meeting people on LFG. But still, there was this irritation. Once again, if you wanted to do this activity and you didn't have 5 other friends just kicking about on your friends list, you had to go away from your Xbox, get on a website, so either whip out your phone or your mobile, because let's be honest, on the Xbox, Edge that's built in is just atrocious. Once again, you had to go to an external site to get full functionality of the game. Well, once again, they've listened. Destiny 2 is going to have a better matchmaking system. Now, they're not doing a full-blown raid LFG, right? Let's clarify this. They're introducing this concept called guided games. And what guided games allows, let's say our clan, right? So it's me, Gim, it's Jay, one of our other buddies, Warfares, and let's just say it's just the 4 of us, right? And we need 6 people to do a raid. So rather than have to go to an external website and post up a message saying looking for 2 more, what we can do is we can set up a guided game, right? And basically within the game, this shows us, like our clan, so our clan name was Enemies of the Traveler. And it'll show us Enemies of the Traveler, and we're looking for 2 more people. So there you are out there, and you're like, oh, I want to do this raid. And from in-game, you can go to the guided games and browse around. You put yourself down and saying, look, I'm looking to do it. And then either we pick you up, or likewise you might end up getting matched with us. It looks really, really quite good. It's not quite full-blown matchmaking, but if I'm brutally honest, I don't know that I would want matchmaking on a raid. Not in Destiny. It would just be... I mean, come on, we've all done it. We've all been in a raid with 5 random people. And it's just not the way to do it, in my opinion. Sometimes maybe will be successful, but most of the time you'll get folk just rage quitting, or folk not listening, or something goes wrong. Very, very seldom do they just go without a hitch. So this concept of guided games, looks really, really good for these groups of people who don't quite have a full raid roster, but they're close. And that way you can find 1 or 2 folk. I mean, what did you guys think of guided games when they talked about that?
I personally think it's I think it's likely to be a great system, and it'll be interesting to see how well it goes. I think as well, coming back to the fact that you can search for players as your clan if you need people. It does mean if you do lose one of those out in the middle of the raid, you haven't got to worry about somebody getting up a PC again, going through looking for a group. You can just automatically just put yourself back in that queue. Mm-hmm. You can just go, we need these sort of people. Again, it's very good for clans. I believe one of them, like for example, like Dads of Destiny, I believe was the name. All these clans that try and help the community, try and help players, do raids, haven't done before. A lot of those clans, I'd probably say, do it very much through Reddit. And for them now to be able to have the avenue. The avenue to be able to go through actual in-game is amazing, because it means that players can then match up with them without even realising what they do as a clan. On top of that as well, again, this might actually, they would know is, you can view the name of the clan, you can see their banner, and you can see their motto. So for example, it could be a clan that actually states we shove people through raids. We're 3 of us who play so on and so forth. And we like to take people through raids, or there's 5 of us, we like to take 1 or 2 through raids. So you'll be able to look for those groups as well and go, oh, these look like a really nice clan. And also, again, it does mean that you could have clans that will put themselves up as looking for more experienced players. And you haven't got to worry about joining a group to then be told that you're an experienced, get kicked automatically, because you'll know what that clan expects. You'll know what they want from you. This will be another good way of seeing it. So yeah, I think it will be a good system, and I really would like to see how it plays out and how it goes.
Fair enough. What about yourself, Gim?
Got to reserve judgment on that until I actually see how it works. No.
Oh, a nice safe option
like
then.
You need to actually get hands on it, really.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it's like with anything. We could reserve judgment on all of this stuff to do with the game. I mean, from what...
Something like that in particular, you can't really talk about it unless you've actually properly used it. I mean, it seems good, but you don't know how well it'll work.
Well, this is the thing. Is it going to be global? Is it going to be region locked? Will it only let you see people, in Europe? Because there's another thing we haven't really talked about is what kind of servers are we looking at? I'm assuming we're still looking at peer-to-peer for Destiny 2, which I'm assuming.
About anything like dedicated.
No.
They didn't really...
The only thing I had to mention about servers was what Blizzard said about it being on Battle.net. Spoiler alert, by the way. Is that the game will run on... They said the game will still run on Bungie servers, but all the communication stuff will be Blizzard servers.
Okay. Now, see, that's actually...
I don't know, that's just storing Guardian data.
Let me just pull that up real quick, because, this is one of the largest things that actually they revealed this evening, was that Destiny 2 is coming to Battle.net, right? So anyone that's played a Blizzard game, you'll know what Battle.net is. And if you don't, well, basically, it's Blizzard's launcher, right? It's their way. If you play Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, you need to go through Battle.net, and it'll, it's a way to authenticate. It's, you can have Battle.net friends, so that way you can actually have chat with your friends regardless what game you're in and all that type of thing. But so anyway, one of the big announcements was that Destiny 2 is going to be on Battle.net, which, confused a lot of people. Some folk were like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. One of our friends was saying, wait, does this mean Activision has taken over Blizzard even more so than they already did? What's happening? They're invading... No, don't invade Battle.net. That's our safe place. Why can't they just release the game on Steam? They've got their reasons. And so Blizzard has basically put up a response, because one of the big questions is, wait a minute, why are you adding a non-Blizzard game to Blizzard's platform? And so basically, what Blizzard's saying is that, look, they have an established and successful global internet infrastructure. And so they were basically tasked with creating a new network client for Destiny 2. Because obviously there wasn't one in place. We had it on the consoles, different system. So basically, Blizzard said to Bungie, hey, look, we'll offer you a share of our PC platform, to help you out, basically. So that's basically it. There's no conspiracy theories going up. It's nothing malicious. It just seems a case of, you got to remember, Activision's the parent company. There's Bungie, there's Blizzard, all these other companies, and basically Blizzard has just put a helping hand out to Bungie, saying, look, you guys don't have the PC infrastructure for online play, so here you go. We'll help you out.
I just showed you something in the Discord quickly, Jungle, that pertains to this, and it's just appeared. They've confirmed that it won't release the same time as the console release on PC.
Oh, really? That is...
I think it was PC Gamer.
That is quite news-breaking. Did they give no firm kind of how long we've got to wait, though, is there?
Luke Smith said he will set the launch date in the coming weeks, so...
Okay. No, good.
Not committed to a date yet. But
good eye there, Gim. Hot off the press. You heard it here first.
Well, on PC getting the first.
Well, but yeah. So there we go. Interesting. But yeah, no, there's, a lot of changes, a lot of things. I mean, I haven't been hyped up for Destiny 2. It's not a case I'm not looking forward to it. I've just been trying not to get too carried away. Hence why I haven't really been playing much of Destiny at the moment with this huge, Age of Triumph thing that's going on. Played a little bit, but I just, I'd rather devote my time to other games, Siege at the moment. And Euro Truck Simulator 2. Oh, God, so good. Is there anything major that we haven't discussed concerning this reveal?
A few things, to be fair. Quite a few changes.
Go for it.
Almost a background on the main bad guy as well, which is quite interesting, which would bring into the fact of...
Oh, no spoiler, though. Can't
well.
spoil the story.
Well, no, it's true. But the main guy, obviously, Cabal, is quite interesting. He's got quite a good background, but quite a funny quote that made me laugh was something about, they were talking about how he's not a psychopath. He's quite... thinks about it all, and as I believe it was Luke Smith quoted, like Alan Rickman from Die Hard. It's very sort of organised about how he wants
Alan
to do
Rickman's
it.
character from Die Hard about the Britishness.
Yeah, exactly. That was the exact quote. So,
That's awesome.
That's quite interesting. But in terms of a lot of changes, for example, the weapon slots now. So you have your kinetic slot and your energy weapon slot. And you can have the same you can have your same types of weapons in those two slots. And then you come to this big power weapon slot, which can be things like your fusions, your sniper rifles, and that has been showcased. Things like grenade launcher, which is new. Earlier you saw a
Grenade launchers.
what was essentially like an almost, I'd say, minigun at one point. It actually, from what it looked
Apparently
like,
that's been confirmed as a separate weapon type to machine guns.
it did like it sped up as it fired for longer, which is quite interesting. There was some big like energy firing rocket launchery thing, but that's quite interesting because they quote again as having more freedom with your weapon choices. It's quite interesting how they've linked like the fusions and snipers in with these power weapons size up too, because they are quite powerful weapons, and having those choices was quite, I would say, almost broken. Being able to
Is that a choice designed to balance the PvP easier, maybe?
well, this is another interesting thing.
Because they've always had problems with secondary weapons in Crucible.
So obviously with Crucible, another big change here is that they are making every single game mode 4v4. So that's all game modes across the board.
Now that is interesting. I wonder why.
I do.
What is the reasoning behind that? Because, I mean, 6v6 was a nice kind of, just maybe just becoming so used to playing the game that way. Maybe that's all it is. But it's just, I find that interesting. 4v4.
They did actually say that Crucible has taken big changes and they are building it for PvP players. So
Thanks for the tweet, Scholar Gamer. Much
it's almost like they're
Maybe
they're separating the stances a bit of trying to have a bit more of a separation between PvE and PvP. But they've changed the HUD in the PvP, for example, so you can I don't know how it's going to be shown, but you can see players that have their supers ready. So obviously you had a what they called again?
Yeah, with was it
Artifacts that did
an
that.
artifact that did that? Yeah.
It's like aliens or something.
You can see if which players have picked up like power ammo recently. So that'll be a sort of heavy ammo equivalent, I'd expect. But it's quite interesting because they say like it's a system that's easy to get into, but will be hard to master. It's quite interesting throw again for me because it's saying that you could look at all this stuff like you can look at when players have supers and everything, but I suppose it'll be hard to master knowing when to engage, when to fight. So that's quite interesting. From that, I'm trying to have a look if there's any sort of big other major changes from looking at it. Obviously, public events, again, they are going to now be shown on the map where they're happening and when they're happening. So instead of having to, again, use a separate website.
That was ridiculous. I mean, you had to bring up this public event. What was it? Public event tracker or public event finder?
Like and there was never a guarantee it would appear on the time.
It gave you a slot. It was like plus or minus however many minutes. So.
So with that as well, now apparently with the public events as well, they've got a heroic sort of objective as well with it. So it'll be interesting to see what that has in relation to public events. If that's like an extra objective you can do, like maybe kill X amount of enemies or something. Also going back to PvP as well, they've got a new game mode called Countdown, which is a proper sort of attack and defense mode. So that won't be like, for example, like Rift, although it was a sort of attack and defense mode, it was kind of a neutral ground kind of one. This is
that one sounds like a proper, you have a defending team and an attacking team.
Exactly.
Sort of like our Siege, where you have an attacking team and a defending team, maybe. So
there looks like there's a new currency as well, because from looking at the
they have different objectives.
at the loadout screen, there was the glimmer is being shown on the same loadout screen now, and there was a little purple icon with a number next to it. I don't have a clue what that's going to be.
I take it. I mean, can we pretty much speculate that the game's going to most likely have microtransactions in the very beginning, right?
Probably.
Because I mean, when you think of Destiny, we're about halfway through its life cycle before they implemented microtransactions, or was it less than or greater than halfway?
They didn't get released until...
Because it was after both of the first two expansions, right? But before the Taken King?
Was it before Taken King, was it?
Or was it with Taken King?
I can't remember.
Or was it after Taken King? I honestly can't remember.
I would say it's probably about halfway through that sort of life cycle. But no, I think they will be microtransactions, and what they do with those microtransactions, because they haven't shown anything for that either.
I wonder how... Well, it'll be interesting to see. We obviously know how they would be handled on console. It just makes me wonder if they'd be handled via Battle.net on PC.
Well, that's what I was going to say as well. If it's handled through that.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
One more thing as well is these sort of bosses, especially seen in the gameplay, they actually had noticeable segments to their health bars.
That makes a nice difference, yeah.
And this comes into something else as well, because they were explaining in the new Strike that you've got 3-stage boss fight. Now, is that going to be health gated, which you can clearly see now with these health segments? And is that going to bring a whole new ballpark into raiding? Because you've got these segmented healths now, so you can know, like, maybe phase 1 is through segment 1 to 2, and then phase 2, 2 to 3, and then phase 3, 3 to death. It'll be interesting to see.
No, that does sound... I mean, that makes me wonder if they'll... maybe not quite to the effect of other games, but, you know, if it will kind of, especially on the PC side of things, will make for more theory crafting, you know, as far as figuring out... I mean, look at Datto. Datto's amazing for figuring out DPS in Destiny. He does it all the time, right? Where he actually goes through, looks at his footage, counting the damage counters, and he has all these charts made up actually showing the effective DPS for all weapons.
Well, that's when you had like the big comparison between Dark Drinkers and Sleeper Simulants and that one of those dead orbit rolled rocket launchers. So yeah, that could become a lot more effective. But I said, because it's just the fact that I saw from the gameplay 3 segments, and then they mentioned the fact that there was a 3-stage boss fight in this Strike, and that just seemed a bit too coincidental for me. That it's 3 stages and they have 3 health segments, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that as well.
Interesting. Anything else? Anything major? Because I think we've pretty much covered all the bases.
Minor nonsense.
Well, go ahead. Hit us up with some minor nonsense, Gim.
Just looking at the Twitter feed, someone that's been playing the demo there said the new mode felt a lot like Counter-Strike.
Really?
No, playing on PC. Yeah, bomb planting defusal. Yeah. And also something really pointless. It was noticed that Morhaime called it Battle.net launcher instead of the Blizzard app. He forgot they renamed it.
Oh, of course they did. Yeah. I totally forgot about that as well. Yeah. Because they made a big... Blizz made a big deal about that. Saying that, we want to, bring our brand back. We want to, show folk that it's Blizzard. Yeah. That's a good point. What about... I know there's been a little bit of commentary, from the naysayers mainly, kind of saying, oh, look, it's just more of the same, just reskinned, or there's nothing really new. But let's be fair. I mean, was there ever? I mean, that's like saying, "Oh, Forza 6 is just an upgraded version of Forza 5. It still has cars." You know what I mean?
I was expecting more reused assets than I saw, because they showed the Cabal Legionnaires and they had fully remodeled helmets and stuff, and
they look so different.
Yes.
So yeah,
I
was expecting.
I don't really understand how people could see. I don't know if I was looking hard enough. I didn't really see many reused assets. And you look at the worlds they've got, and they look stunning, absolutely stunning. For example, I think it was Titan or something, being pretty much just a water-based
thanks for the tweet, Pete.
world, and them having all these like buildings on. I'm going to use the technical term, stands or whatever. But yeah, there was not much that looked like it was reused at all. I don't know what people saw from that. If they were looking at things like reloading animations and the way the characters look, then yeah, I would expect that sort of stuff to be the same.
There was this trying to image search for a certain screen cap because I couldn't get it myself. There was some Warlock armor that looked really, really nice.
Yeah.
Sort of like gold, sort of detailing coming out of the back. And
I mean, they've reused the K decor and Zavala models, if that counts for anything.
they're still the same people.
Well, how about this? Why don't I play the official gameplay reveal trailer? Then after that, we'll have some closing thoughts, and then we will call that a wrap. So let me just pause my music real quick and get this bad boy started up.
Cora, if you tell me this is a practical joke, well, it kills me to say it, but I would be really impressed.
Impressing you, Cade, is the easiest thing I'll do all day.
Ikora, what have you got?
Someone or something has sabotaged the Skyline defense systems.
Every sensor beyond the wall has gone dark.
Battle stations! Everyone with me, now!
Hang on!
Your journey ends here. This enemy has taken our home. And now, they threaten our very existence. But if we attack together, we can take back our home, or we die trying.
All right, Guardian. Time to kick him where it hurts.
Am I right? Am I right or am I right?
If that trailer doesn't get you hyped up, I don't know what will. I hate using that word hype, but I've got to be honest. Yet again, and this is from someone who was fairly cynical about all of this leading up to Destiny 2. That gave me shivers again, and maybe that's because I'm just a fan. Okay, hello. I'm wearing a Destiny hoodie. I've got a Destiny beanie. I've got my engrams, my stress ball engrams sitting behind the monitor over there. The trailer look, Bungie knows how to make trailers. They always do. They just, when it came to Destiny, they just know how to get us interested and make us want to play the game. And if that's a taste of the type of quality of the cutscenes that we can see in the full release, wow. Yeah. September 8th just so happens to be my birthday, so hey, works for me. Let's talk about based, because I know, right, a few of us here were thinking, well, you know, not sure if I'm going to pre-order. I know how I'm going to do it. I know I'm probably going to buy a physical version. I don't think I'm going to get the full-blown 250 quid collectors.
No.
But maybe the one that was the tier below that. Because I did that with all the other Destinies. I bought the collector's editions. Same with the Division. I brought the collector's edition. I like to get the physical box of a game that I'm excited about, so I can get all the little special paraphernalia. So I think I'm going to probably do that with Destiny 2. Now, I know if you pre-order it, you get beta access early, but you know what? We're all going to get beta access anyway, so they say. So I'm not going to let that kind of taint my decision, so to speak. But I know that I will most likely be picking it up, and most likely in physical form, so I can get all the extra goodies. Jay, where do you stand?
Well, I'm pretty much going to sum up my what this whole entire gameplay reveal meant to me in terms of the fact that whilst watching the actual gameplay trailer and the little trailer before, I genuinely was crying tears of excitement. I'm not even exaggerating. I had tears rolling down my face. That was how much that hyped me up as such. I'm going to pre-order it. There's no question. I really didn't have much doubt in my mind, but I did want to see this first. I would have liked to have got the limited edition, but it seems like I think it's out of stock in a lot of places now, which is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me does want to get it.
Get more stock.
As much as I'd like the physical edition,
Still
and a lot of me
out,
would.
yeah.
Part of me's like, I kind of just want to get it from the store, so it's pre-downloaded. So the minute that release time hits, I can be on it. Regardless of what I'm doing the next day, I can just be like, yes. But no.
As long as there's no connection issues. Because Bungie's never been known to have any issues on a launch.
No. But there's no doubt in my mind about me getting it at all. And
Okay.
I'm debating pre-ordering it on store pretty soon from Xbox Store. So I might see if
Still
there's
got
any way I can
17
find
weeks
limited
and a day
edition.
before it comes out.
Yeah, but I need that. I need that beta.
He needs that early beta access. What about yourself, Kim? The voice of reason.
I'm just glad I don't main a hunter anymore. I want new stuff. I don't want arc stick. It's not even arc blades, arc stick now.
Arc stick. Yeah, no, I agree, Kronos. That is the handy thing about pre-ordering digital. And with usually I tend to do that with a lot of games, but it's only when there's a certain franchise I really want the extra collector stuff that then I end up getting the physical. Because it always irritates me that you can pay the same price for the digital collector's edition, but not get the same amount of content. It's quite irritating. But yeah, so there we go. Did they say anything about when we can expect more information? Did they give any firm dates? Or
Not
no?
that I can think. I'm pretty sure they said.
They'll probably announce something soon. They'll do some more.
Yeah.
I saw.
What they always do.
Yeah.
I read somewhere, depending on what credibility it actually has, about something about beta coming out on PlayStation 4 first, which, to be fair, wouldn't surprise me if it did. Obviously, it will be on Xbox One. I expect it will probably be on PC as well. I don't really think there was. I expect they'll be keeping this very
Certainly is,
Very,
Kronos. Certainly is.
tight to their chest. And anyway, as you say, you've got a lot of YouTubers, streamers, press guys that are there playing the game currently, and there'll be a lot of YouTube content I expect coming out over the next few days, which will be something to keep an eye on, because we all get to have a first look there at the new strike, because I believe they said they could actually
Yeah, they went out of their way to say the streamers and YouTubers be able to put stuff up.
Have they actually got hands-on experience with the Crucible game mode as well?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first story, the starting part of the story, because I'm not too sure what they actually showed of the first story mission was the full thing. But yeah, we're definitely going to get to see the strikers again. We can see how this gate health works, and again the Crucible. So be interested to see how much of that content comes out from it. I don't know if they've got an embargo to a certain point they can't release, or they've got to wait to give everybody a fair chance. But I'm looking forward to this sort of week build-up, and I'll be keeping a very, very close eye on the, as I do most weeks anyway, on the Destiny Reddit.
Well, no doubt, if any news pops up in the coming weeks, no doubt we'll bring it up briefly or talk about it on a future Jungle Drums. Gem J, just want to say thank you so much for joining me this evening. As always, it's always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Well, thank you for having us as well.
And yeah, I'm just gonna basically look, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch live, we're live every Thursday on Beam at 9 p.m. UK time, so you can Google that to figure out what time that is in your part of the world. If you're watching this on demand at a later date, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to share the video if you can. If you like it, hit like. If you don't like it, dislike. And hey, stay tuned for more Jungle Drums in the weeks to come. I'm a Cute Jungle. For Scholarly Gamers, that's me out. Gem, G, you gents have an absolutely lovely evening.
I got late dinner, that's why I'm having.